Another episode of Misty Bay. We're just going to jump right back into it, right where we left off. Going to do a quick little look at our services and see what we need. Yeah. The coverage here is really tough with this fire stuff. Maybe we'll put a bigger one in here. That might get us a little more coverage. Take a look at our schools. Looks like we need another high school or upgrade one of our existing high schools. Not sure what we're going to do yet. Yeah. I got a few high schools downloaded. I should have just put a big high school in here to begin with. I don't know why I didn't just put a big high school in here to begin with. I probably would have made sense, but we don't make mistakes. Just happy little accidents. Things will come together. Yeah. So I could expand this campus, I think. I could add these expansion pieces. But I'm thinking I might have to just put a bigger school in here, honestly. We're not stressing. Absolutely no stress. We don't come here to stress. We come here to play a game and get what we want. Get what we want. Yeah, I got quite a few schools. These are nice little expansion pieces that add just a little bit more space to every school. Yeah, like I'm saying, I think we'll just get a bigger school in here, one with a lot more capacity. Yeah, that's a little big, a little too big. That's too big. I got some larger schools too. You never know, right? We don't know what we're gonna do. We just don't know. Now that's an expansion piece, so we're gonna have to put down a main building here first. This seems like what's gonna fit. Yeah. I think that's what we'll go with. Just move it into place. Now that's not gonna get us the capacity we need, so I think I'll add on a couple of these expansion pieces. Building C and Building B. Yeah. Get rid of these fences now, we don't need them. Hardest thing to remove in the game. But we don't let it stress us out. Absolutely no stress. No stress. So you see, like just like that, we can clip it right in. And it looks different, but that's fine. Absolutely fine. That's what the schools do in real life. They have to meet the demand of their communities, so they add on expansion buildings. And sometimes they don't look the same. And that's perfectly fine. Just like that. Just like that. It was so easy. Absolutely easy. No stress. And this is how you can make many schools with one asset that all look different. By clipping different schools together and different pieces together You get completely different schools. This is how you can do hospitals, police stations, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Maybe we'll get a public library in here. Yeah, might be a good idea to get one of those in here. Yeah, I know I reserved some of this space for our train station, but we're not stressed. We'll have enough room here for that too. So we'll just take a little bit of it, just a little bit of it for this public library. Yeah, this is gonna look good right here. Give it a little parking lot. This is probably one of my favorite assets, the parking lot roads. And that fit perfect, absolutely perfect in there. No stress. We don't stress here. There we go. Beautiful. We don't come here to stress. Remember that. This game's not a stressful game. It's a very simple game. Very simple game. There's no right way to play it either. There's your way to play. Your way to play. Every way has a unique challenge that comes with it. And it's just about figuring out what that unique challenge is and how you're going to resolve it. There's no one right way. Absolutely not one right way. If you look in the real world, there's not one way a city's been built. A lot of cities share similarities or similar rules and patterns, but every city has its own unique challenges. So there's no right way. It's just about figuring it out for yourself and getting the look you're going for. This is just how I get the look I want. There's no right way. Absolutely not. Yeah, this is coming together real nice. Absolutely real nice. See, now we've got these garbage things in the way, but that's fine. We'll just plan around it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. This will just make it more unique. Add a little quirk to our city. See? Every city's got its unique challenges it's got to face. There's no right way. There's no rules except for the ones you create for yourself. It's your choice. You get to decide everything that happens in this world. This is your little happy world. Your little happy world. It's taking a long time to empty, but that's okay. We're working on reclaiming this land. We want to get rid of all this industry here eventually. But time will come. Time will come for that. We're going to add a little bit of traffic control here onto our main street of Riverton. Just a little bit of traffic control. Nothing crazy. Just giving priority to the main road there. We just want traffic to flow quick through the main road, right? We're not trying to get crazy here. We don't need any traffic lights or any crazy big intersections. We don't need lots of lanes. The only thing that's slowing down the through traffic is not having any of these set up, and that'll be fine. We'll fix that right away. That road's not attached, and this is a little bit of a cheat. Someday we'll detach it properly. And it'll be fine. This is coming together real nice. Absolutely perfect. We're almost a small city. We're so close. Absolutely so close. Oh yeah. Land value is looking good. Obvious new place to develop some higher density buildings. We like to pack them right in on sardines, right on the highest tax revenue spot. If you were a developer and you bought this land and you wanted to get the most money for your dollar, would it not make sense to put as many people and have more renters? That's what I'm thinking. Just my thought on it. Instead of one house, put an apartment complex there with 10 households. So now you're making more money for the taxes you got to pay for that land. Makes sense to me anyways. Maximizing profits is what I think. But this is your world, right? I'm not telling you how to play. This is just my thought process that goes into why I do what I do, to get the results I'm looking for. Again, there's no right way. There's no right way. So I like to use Plop It and Find It to place my high density residential down and high density buildings down. It allows more control. I do not like when high density buildings get removed after they're spawned. It just doesn't feel realistic to me. High density buildings often stay forever until they're refit or destroyed and replaced. So that's just me. That's just, again, how I get the results I'm looking for. There's no right way. Absolutely no right way. So as land value develops here, we'll be able to figure out where we're going to put our high density residential units. It'll become very clear. So I think we'll get a few more back here. Getting rid of all these houses. This is a good time to upgrade roads right before you solidify a new development. And these are my favorite, these little block homes. They have 3 apartments per unit, so you can really cram a lot of people in real small and real tight into a small space. Yeah. I love filling in blocks of these block homes. They just fit the vibe. Eventually, a lot of this might be block homes. This redeveloped into block homes. As the city grows and gets bigger, block homes and high density residential. I got a few different styles of block homes, but these ones really are my favorite. Give them an alley. This is just an aesthetic thing. This is purely an aesthetic. Just makes me feel good inside. I'd imagine maybe these people have their driveways in the back of their house now, and they're now able to get to their driveways, and so their back door, now is their front door. These little things you tell yourself to get your city developed. There's no right way. Remember this. It's just the story you tell yourself. And that's what makes the character beautiful. We have abandoned buildings on the Watu, but we're not worried about that. We do not care. Do not care. So we need to get some more residential in here. We got a lot of residential demand, so we're gonna have to fill it. And so we'll start off by building maybe a little subdivision over here on the Watu. I'm gonna try to line up these grids now because they're a little wonky. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. See where it goes. I have no real plan here. I've got nothing in mind. I just want to maximize development space. Just maximize development space. I want to get as many homes in here as I can. So I think what I'll do is I'll get an American style subdivision in here. Just a classic 50s, 60s, right after the war. Need to get those baby boomers, lots of houses. This is what you see. I think this is what we'll do. Yeah. This allows you to cram a lot of houses in a small space. I think I had it right the first time, but that's life. We don't stress. Absolutely no stress. We just come here to play a game. We do not come here to stress. Yeah, this will look nice. Don't know how we're going to connect these roads up yet. They're kind of weird. There. So this is turning out good. It's going to be a little tricky to get this third one in here. Yeah, I'm going to have to finicky around with this one a bit. I don't even know where to start. Just trying to make it so that all the zoning goes to the middle road there, the main road. Yeah, there we go. Maximize the zoning to the main road there. I don't use this tool much. I find it's very finicky and buggy. Alright, now we'll come back to this tough project that I've been just thinking about in my head. But how I'm going to get these low roads in here straight and get the look we're going for here. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something like this. Yeah, there we go. That's called an anchor road. We used a little bit of an anchor road there to help us get our positioning. And now we got to bring these nodes in line with that. There. So we got that in there. It was a little tricky, but we're not intimidated. Absolutely not intimidated. No fear, no stress. Look at that. Perfect. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So as I said, the on the Watu Preservation Society Committee, whatever you want to call them, they're trying to preserve as much of this coastline, and they're pissed off about this industry being built here, and it's going to be removed. So all these residential developments here are going to be very carefully watched by this committee, and that means there's only going to be so much development along this coastline and on the Watu. This is probably one of the bigger developments they're going to allow. And maybe when we get to redeveloping that industry space, we'll turn some of those old industry into apartment complexes. We'll see. We'll see. Not getting too far ahead of ourselves, because as I said, cities change, demand changes. You don't know what you're going to need, so don't get too far ahead of yourself in planning, because then you'll set yourself up for failure, and we don't want to do that. We want ourselves set up for success. Get a little fence in here. Maximize that zone. Yeah. This reminds me of looking at suburbia in northern United States, where they needed to maximize space. Beautiful. We don't stress here. Absolutely no stress. I can't stress that enough, ironically. We don't come here to stress. These little things that want to try to make us stress out, like the snapping of these fences, we don't let that bother us. We don't care. This is our game. We tell it what we're doing. It doesn't tell us. This is our world. We make all the rules here. Absolutely all the rules. We're not worried about this power. It's not connected. It will all be joined in a second here. We're not stressing. Absolutely not stressing. So, we can get our train stations in here now. I think I want something a little bigger than what I've got here. We might go with one of the bigger transport hubs. Yeah, this is quite tiny. Yeah. I think we'll go with a transport hub here. Now this is a dead end, so we don't need the through platforms. We only want the end platforms. Yeah, this is what we want. Yeah, we want the dead end. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Just need a little bit more space, so we'll have to move this road right to here. There we go. Now, it's got a subway attached to it, but I'm trying to play a game without a subway system. So we're going to be reliant on the trains and buses, and maybe in the future we might get a monorail system in. We'll see. We don't know what the city's going to require, so we're not too stressed about that right now. Right now, I'm just trying to get our first main train station in here. That's the important part. There we go. Perfect. We've got the inside track, the outside track, and now it's just about connecting all these up. so that they're functional. There we go. Absolutely no stress. We do not stress here. Perfect. We don't have to get too crazy or fancy with these. We don't know what problems are going to be with there yet. We'll diagnose the problems when they arise. We can't anticipate every single problem. If we try to, we'll only stress ourselves out. We've got to let the game show us what the problems are with our city, and then we've got to know and figure out how we're going to deal with it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Beautiful. Just a little bit of precision work here. Not getting too crazy. There we go. And that just sits together just fine. There we go. Easy, absolutely easy. No stress. Absolutely no stress. So now we'll just work this track all the way up. We know where it's got to go. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to do our at-grade crossings and which roads are not going to be going across and which ones are. That'll all work itself out here in the next few minutes. A little bit of weaving to get around all this stuff we've put in here, but we did have a slight little plan. We had a slight little plan for these earlier, and because of that, it worked out. Because we just left a little bit of space there. That worked out just fine. So I'm running a double track system here. So we're going to have to put in the second track. And these passenger trains are going to cross over the cargo rail. And the cargo rail is going to have to give way. I'm doing this because there's not going to be that many trains. There's not going to be that many trains moving through for passenger. And when it does get to that point, we'll just deal with it when it happens. Right now, we're not getting fancy. We're not getting fancy. We don't need to. There's no reason for it. If we try to overcomplicate things, we'll only set ourselves up. We'll only set ourselves up for failure. And we don't want to do that. If we want success here, absolutely, that's all we want. We're here to have fun, relax, and just build a city. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. That Alt tool, you got to be very careful with the Alt. It can really mess things up. Holding Alt will snap pieces, and sometimes it'll break whole sections of your road or your train, but we don't let it stress us out when it does. If you get stressed about these little things, you'll get stressed about more and more. Before you know it, you don't want to play anymore. And we don't want that. Because we come here to have fun, relax, and enjoy watching and building the city and watching it progress. No stress. Absolutely no stress. So now we'll bring this passenger rail line all the way through and past on the Watu, because it's going to have a station as well. Nothing crazy, it's just going to be a transport station from Riverton to on the Watu. It's not going to accept any outside trains. Absolutely no outside trains. If you're coming from another city outside the map and you want to get to on the Watu, you first have to go to Riverton and take the transfer train to on the Watu. That's absolutely what you have to do. I do not care if it's inconvenient for you. This will control the traffic. This will control tourists and your citizens in how they use the rail system. We want to be very specific with the rail. If you're not, and you don't define rail usage right from the get-go, you'll run into many, many problems later down the road. So it's very important you establish a very strong set of train rules and guidelines for your city and establish what each station is for right off the bat. Is it a local station or is it an intercity station? What is the purpose of the station? What is it going to be serving? What's it going to be doing? Why did you put it there, right? Not every station has to do every single task. That's a mistake a lot of people make. So, in my mind, this rail came first, right? We put this rail in before the roads, or most of these roads, perhaps. Yeah, and so development happened around the rail a little bit, and we have to make it look like it did. In my mind, you don't have to. I mean, it's your world. You can do whatever you want in your world. This is just how I'm going to get the look I want. And that's what it's about, getting the look you want. We only want a few of the main roads crossing here. We don't want to get too crazy. We just got to figure out which ones are crossing and which ones are dead ending here. I think we messed that up a bit, but there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I really want to get the next train station in here too. So this will allow for cargo to get to downtown to service the commercial buildings, and for the short term, the industrial buildings that are being used here. So I've already broken one of my cardinal rules with the rail, and I'll tell you about that later. And I think we'll call that a day. Till next time, have a good one.